This is my crush Park Min-hee, and to be honest, she's probably better than your favorite anime waifu. Actually, I kind of lied since I have a lot of crushes, but they all play volleyball with me, so I hit the greatest jackpot I could ever dream of. Now listen, all these girls bully me, but I'm playing for the long con, and I know for a fact that my secret plan is literally S tier. Oh, and one more thing, these anime girls don't know what's about to hit them since I just gained the power to change anyone's physical attributes in real time, so it's time for me to shine. So now I'm basically a god more powerful than any weave since I can alter anyone's future potential or even their current ability like stamina or strength. I can even change their attack power or give someone more intelligence with the blink of my eye, but the best part is that I can even let their Jiits and Honkai impacts grow larger at any moment. But right now, I'm still stuck as the equipment manager for my team Red Rabbits, and that's because I've taken more L's than my boy Rock Lee. Anyways, let me start from the beginning, and it all began when I wanted to become a pro volleyball player because, let's be real, they got the most attractive female teams of any sport. But here's the problem, I wasn't good enough man, and it took me a very long time to accept reality since I didn't want to be someone's Yamcha to their Goku. So I basically wasted 18 years of my life trying to get good at something I wasn't, just like some of y'all trying to grind rank, but you still stuck gold all these years. But to be honest, I can't give up since I want to bag the best athletic 10s you will ever see, and since I don't want to be some kind of weird male gymnast trying to score an Olivia Dunn, the only way for me to stay on the court is to become some trash equipment manager. But then one day, after trying to escape the backrooms and playing dress to impress with the girls, I got a random pop-up out of nowhere on my gaming laptop. It was basically an ad for a game called Volleyball Manager, so I decided to install it since I am tired of American Truck Simulator, and I already played Football Manager and FIFA before, so it looked pretty promising. But then something weird happened. The game already knew my real-life name and even had my picture on it, making me think my FBI agent watching me finally wanted to say hello. However, I saw a bright flash from my screen, and the next thing I knew, I started seeing holograms inside my room talking about how the system is synchronizing with reality, making me sweat harder than I usually do after destroying some day-old Taco Bell. Anyways, after a few seconds, it told me to tap on the screen like some kind of VR interface, but I got nothing on my head. And since I have seen anime like this before, I decided it's time to risk it all. Now, all of that literally happened just a few days ago, and today is the first day I can finally see if I can become my true self to unleash my ultimate sussy baka mode. So far, everything looks like it's working as intended since I can see every rating of everyone on my team, but it looks like everyone sucks more than Kim Kardashian on the rebound. But I guess that's to be expected. Still, it's kind of weird because I have to stare at them to make this work, so I hope no one thinks I am a Minecraft creeper about to explode at any moment. Speaking of staring, I can feel my pants start to shrink, so I have a strong feeling Min-hee and the rest of the 10s have arrived. So hopefully my powers don't go away anytime soon because I need to find out what else I can do with this game like power. Maybe I can use my powers to be more like that stopwatch guy that freezes time, but so far it looks like my powers only work on people that play volleyball, so that's kind of lame since I can't use it on myself. This thing is also a little bit confusing to be honest, because after I did the tutorial quest it now tells me I unlocked a new skill like in solo leveling. Like here it tells me I can adjust any player's stats using something called SP. But just when I was about to read, which I never do because it's 2024, someone called my name, so I turned around as fast as I could, hoping that it isn't the blue-haired demon. But as soon as I turned around, I got smacked in the face with a volleyball, so I already knew this has to be Siha, because this girl is one of the worst out of the bunch, but she's still a 10. So there's not much I can do. Now, don't call me a simp or a pushover just because I let Siha push me to the ground, since in reality I totally let it happen on purpose so I can see those special features better up close from down below, if you know what I mean. Anyways, I have to get up while she complains and yaps because I don't want to get caught by the coach and get fired since I need Robux to pay off my skin addiction, plus Siha actually throws a killer ball that hurts. She better watch out though, because even if she's one of my top 3 crushes here, I got something up my sleeve, and if it works properly, her life and volleyball career will only be up to me and there's nothing she can do about it. But you know what I just realized? This is pretty embarrassing, basically getting beat up by one of my crushes over and over, and she even does it all the time in front of the entire team, so I wonder if this is going to ruin my chances with any of them. Regardless, I took a peek at Siha's stats, and she's even worse than the others because her overall is only 42 and she's somehow super weak. The only thing she got going is her leadership skills. Funnily enough, I just got a quest pop-up trying to teach me how to use a skill called status adjustment, allowing me to adjust someone's stats. So it might be a good idea to use it on Siha to see if it actually works. Usually at this time this week, she goes to the training room to try and increase her attacking power after doing some sets, so I might get lucky and find her there, with no one nearby since everyone else is too busy focusing on the court. Turns out I was absolutely right. I found her inside the training room trying to do some simple leg curls, but she couldn't even do a single rep, so something might be wrong with her, other than her head, of course. But then I remember, I think I know why she can barely even do one rep, and I think it's because of one of the games from a week ago, where she landed awkwardly on her knee, so see how I might have gotten an injury then? So that's probably why her overall stats are super low. Nevertheless, my plan is to bother her while it's just me and her in the room, so it's going to allow me some time to figure out how to use my powers on someone, and if I can finish this tutorial quest, then it's all good in the hood. Unfortunately for me, I forgot how feisty she is. So before I could even strike up a conversation with her, she starts telling me to get good at my job. So maybe I should have barked at her like I show Speed does with girls. Luckily for me, I got the perfect present for her since she's been nagging me all week to always keep her knee pads fresh and clean at all times, so I ended up using my own money to buy her some pretty nice ones that are straight up upgrades from her old ones. But she just grabs them from me like a lunatic without even thanking me or looking at least slightly happy. Instead, Sia starts telling me how she thinks it was a mistake for her to appoint me to equipment even when I'm literally the assigned equipment manager. I even wrote something nice on it to help boost her confidence like a true simp. But I guess this is what I get for being a pushover 24/7. From now on, I am going to make sure I teach this girl a lesson she will never forget. But before I could even leave, I see Seha notice my little motivational message, so she calls me over, and this might be the chance I've been waiting for since she doesn't look too angry now. Joke's on me though, she's still super angry to the point that she kicked me straight to the ground, and to be honest, I never expected that because what kind of person would be this evil after receiving a thoughtful gift? Now with me stuck on the ground, Sia looks at me with such disgusting eyes even though I never did anything wrong. But at least I get to witness some great angles while she tells me to not get up if I want to keep my job. But I kind of get it. She's super salty and she's taking all of her frustrations out on me after being kicked out as an all-star from the #1 team, and now she's stuck with us. The Red Rabbits, the worst team in the entire league. I do admit she's pretty professional with everyone else except me though. That I know she's really trying her best to try and get back to her old level, but that dream is long gone when you get injured all the time. However, let's see if we can do something about her knee to get her to stop bullying me, since using my special skill is a quest I need to finish, and I might even get some pretty sick rewards if my memory serves me correctly. Suddenly, after I altered some of her stats and hit confirm on the screen, I instantly noticed Sia freeze up like she's in some kind of Mr. Beast challenge. So it looks like my powers actually did something. Seconds later, I watched her transform into my fellow ninja as she quickly floated into the sky like her old championship self, allowing her to successfully perform a monstrous block so great that her pyramids of Giza almost smacked against the net from the sheer recoil of the block. The block was so insane that everyone took notice immediately. Even my coworkers turned around after hearing the ball crater back into the floor, creating such a loud sound that people thought something fell from the sky. But the only thing that fell from the sky is my good looks, so it's clear as day that my powers has been activated, so hopefully you enjoy your time today, Siha, as I know it's been a while making this my present to you, and I hope you truly enjoy it. Anyways, I basically raised her stats back to the time when she was the top dog, so as long as she behaves, then I'll keep it like that, and I might even raise it a little bit if she does me a special sussy favor in the future. Nonetheless, a few hours later after my work ended, I decided to stay and help around because I had a hunch Siha might come looking for me, as she probably has no idea what the heck happened to make her knee be at full power again, since she didn't do anything different about her day. Turns out I was right, and here she's ganking me out of nowhere after the sun has already set, but she just stares at me and says nothing, looking like she's zoning out more than me when I hit the pen and see it blinking at the end. But since I know she got that ego, I decided to stir the clay pot rice to remind her a little bit of what happened earlier today, so I straight up asked her if she liked my message on her knee pad. As soon as I said that, she instantly woke up and looked like she finally remembered why she was hunting me down, causing her to push me against the wall, making it look like our gender roles were swapped, but I kinda like it, so call me a sussy baka. Unsurprisingly, she starts yapping like the Yamato cannon while I was stuck against the wall, but at least I wasn't stuck inside the laundry like a step sibling. So she tries to get something out of me, thinking I did something forbidden with her knee pads to make her jump like a fellow ninja. This time, however, as she tries to threaten me to speak up, I wasn't even fazed at her actions because I became an evolved version of myself. Some might even call me a Chad now, as I can feel a power surge through me, knowing that my life has changed. For the first time ever, I could lock eye contact with one of my crushes for more than half a second. And I even had the confidence to blurt out to her face that I don't think she's as stupid as she comes off. Of course, my actions and words riles her up more than a person named Riley, but still I choose not to move and continue staring into her soul, knowing full well that if she does anything stupid right now, then I can show her my true self, the new godmaker in town. Luckily for her, I feel like I have to take a massive dump after drinking milk, so I flash a smile at her, trying my best to become the Riz Master 9000, and I tell her she should chill because it doesn't look like she knows what the heck is happening here. I then reveal to her that I know exactly what happened to make her as strong as before, and if she wants to know more about my secret sauce, then she better turn her clothes invisible right now. But as soon as the invisible clothesline rolled off my tongue, I felt a direct hit on my chest which hurt more than usual, probably because I did alter her strength earlier, so I should have seen this coming from more than 6.9 miles away. So now I find myself sitting on my butt again, and this made it harder for me to hold in the massive dump within me. But I have to continue on to reveal my trump card while Sia calls me out of my mind for following the practices of my mentor, the pervy sage. He taught me to never give up, and since this is my time to shine, I lock in like I am about to do the biggest clutch ever, and I tell her she should probably listen to me, especially since I am 100% serious. I know my plan will work, so I get back up on my feet, and since I know her drive to become the best again is her #1 priority, there's no way she's going to pass this down even if it's the slightest chance of her recovering to full strength. Anyways, after a minute or two of me staring her down like she's some kind of fresh Korean fried chicken, my plan finally works as the Asian flush gets bestowed upon her while Sia begins showing off the reason why 10s are 10s and that everyone else is mid. Slowly but surely, I was able to witness close up what no one else had been able to see, and that's Seiha's legendary good goods starting from the top. But I want more. I want everything invisible, including Captain Underpants. I will be honest, this is the greatest time of my life as I finally got to see my first ever twin dragons in secret gold pile, and it even came from one of my crushes, causing my Wendy's spicy nuggets to instantly quadruple in size. Now that I can see everything, I begin downloading this moment straight into my brain, so I scan my prize in front of me to the best of my abilities, up and down, left and right, making sure I don't forget any small detail as we are going to make this my go-to every night. However, after a couple minutes of me making perfect use of my photographic memory skills, we start hearing a sound get closer and closer to us, ruining our amazing romantic moment since Sia instantly covered up her defenses, not wanting to get accidentally ganked out of nowhere. Turns out, it was a bunch of girls from the volleyball team, and the worst part is that they literally went the long route where we were at instead of going the usual way, so it looks like Lady Luck forcibly made me take an L. I didn't try to act cool like I usually do, but this time I can feel my jawline get sturdier, so maybe I am transforming into a Chad, so I decide to smile and lock eye contact with the girls coming my way, knowing full well I am above these people now. Luckily, they leave us alone after quickly passing us by, but the first thing they ask Seiha is if Mr. Equipment is bothering her again. So now I took it personally they don't even know my name or even acknowledge me after all the things I have done for this team. Nevertheless, shortly after they exited my line of sight, Sita fully closes up her closet and gets mad at me, telling me to make sure I never tell anyone about what happened, but I don't know why she's running away when she didn't even learn what I did to fix her abilities. It's her loss, I guess, but the next day, we had a league game against the Valkyries, and I already know everyone in the stadium expects us to lose harder than Jake Paul against the GOAT Mike Tyson. I swear, being part of this team is the best thing ever since I get to watch every team. And those mobility exercises are the bomb since everyone always shows off their S-tier Brazilian-style dump truck jutsu, which I call earthquake makers. Regardless, right before the game started and while everyone was warming up, I saw the coach personally go to Seiha to hype her up, asking her if she's going to be in the same shape as practice, because if she is back to 100%, we might actually get our first win. It's also looking up for Seiha too, as she was one of the chosen ones from our team to get an interview for the first time in a very long time, so I bet all the pressure is on her now to perform. Unfortunately, it looks like Seiha took an L like me on Amina. One of my other crushes showed up out of nowhere and stole the spotlight right under Seiha, so now almost everyone forgot that this is Sia's first time becoming a starter in over a year. It's okay though, because literally 2 seconds into the game, my blue-haired princess went on an all-out attack that absolutely obliterated the opponents to grab the first point of the game, shocking everyone as no one has seen that kind of power from her in a long time. But here's where things are going to get more interesting, because it's time for me to step in. And I apologize in advance for what I am about to do to my little princess. As such, I activated my powers and noticed that her stamina levels are border on all-star levels, but within just a few seconds, I can make her wake up and face reality again with just a single tap to hit confirm. And so I did it. I played Anime God again. And the next thing I knew, I watched Sisa revert back to her losing self and watched her even get hit in the face in front of everyone and on live television. She even noticed her knee feeling loose and willy wonky, so it's basically over for her now, as the opposition will target her until she's forced to be subbed out of the game as she's playing even worse than usual. And just like I expected, she got subbed out faster than anyone else on the team this year, shocking even the person she benched, as that's pretty humiliating, getting absolutely destroyed after showing the best potential for just a couple minutes. After seeing her benched, I watched Siha go to the locker room, so I decided to pay her a visit. And while she was looking like Kermit the Frog after failing some rope, I blasted my voice and asked her how she felt after the second minute. I then thought it was time for me to reveal my secret to her, that it was me, so I told her exactly what happened and explained that right before the second minute, I adjusted her physical attributes back to normal, so she better watch out. But even after I warned her and set her attributes close to zero so she can't spring up and clap me like Bruce Lee, she looks like she doesn't believe me, so to make it believable, I decided to act like those gods I see in anime all the time. I then reached out my palm in front of her while she's still glued to the ground, telling her that her entire life lays in the hands of my palm, so she better treat me properly and do whatever I want, or else I can crush her like I crush large fries with no salt. I even went as far as to try and instill fear into Seha by letting her know if she still doesn't believe me, then she can try ignoring me again, and we can both wait and see together to watch what will happen to her skills on national television. But in the end, I finished up our conversation by laughing and ordering her to stop frowning like me when a McDonald's employee tells me their ice cream machine is down, knowing full well they were too lazy to clean up. Anyways, after yapping and cosplaying like I am the monkey god of this world, I generously flipped my hand over to see if she would actually believe all the nonsense I was talking about, and I hope she does, because this is part of my perfect plan to get revenge. Regardless, after a few seconds of hesitation, I was surprised to see that my GT role-playing skills was actually put to good use, since Sia actually took my hand and asked me what she needs to do to gain favor with me, allowing me to finally rev my sussy engine. Of course, the first thing I did with this much enormous power was to replace my skinny jeans with nothing but air to free the Korean corn dog I was hiding, and let's just say I have strong hunch that Steha is hungry enough to devour an entire extra-large combo meal. Anyways, with my banana tree plantation out in the open, I try my best to not break eye contact, since I heard girls love that kind of confidence, allowing me the opportunity to command Siha to please be a deer for a few minutes to fix my fighting stick, currently stuck in the straight-up position. Nonetheless, after a few seconds of awkward silence, she actually moves forward, and eventually I find myself with one of my crushes literally 1 centimeter in front of me, looking like she's about to do a bongsu hot dog mukbang whilst using the claw grip on my Elden Ring Special Edition PlayStation controller. 2 seconds later, my dream finally came true. I was able to actually experience a real rice cake destroying session with a real person, instead of me having to imagine it by subbing to some online females for more than $15 a month. The best part was that this was free, and I have to thank Roblox for giving me some insane pop-up that finally led to my mythical fruit being awakened. And to be honest, this feels even greater than I imagined, as it isn't the same feeling when you are a left-handed person. I think it's wild that destiny has led to me this point, because literally just 2 years ago, this chocolate Slurpee drinker was the up-and-coming prodigy that was supposed to take over the entire league. She was literally on the news cycle every single day, and she even won numerous trophies as a rookie, making her one of the most popular players for an entire year, until that fateful day she got her first ever hiccup after an unfortunate accident. Then 2 years later, I was super excited to get the chance to meet her in person after the rumors of her signing for the Red Rabbits were confirmed to be true, but the first thing she did was to bully me harder than my fireboy Katsuki. She would literally pick on me every single day, and it's not even the cute type, since it usually involved something hurtful every time, even though I never did anything wrong, nor did I even look at her the wrong way. But today, the turntables have finally turned. All that time I spent just being a lowly equipment manager has accumulated to me being one of the luckiest persons alive. So look at me now. My scientific volcano is being investigated by a former champion. However, this isn't enough to make me even with Siha. And even though I would rate my group member a solid 11 out of 10 on this project, I said out loud that this is a terrible job, allowing me to use that excuse to speed up her offensive attacks using my own battering ram powers. Within seconds, I started hearing random incomplete sounds, so it looks like my way of things is working out better than I expected. So I have to thank this special type of anime for all the tips and tricks I learned to make sure breathing techniques were of utmost importance. Eventually, I paused my infinite domain expansion to make sure Siha doesn't pass out from the sheer amount of bursting experience I learned online, but my own yellow rabbit is still roaring and ready to go for multiple rounds, as it has yet produced enough water eggs to evolve back to its normal extra small version. Then, after hearing 2 small exhales to complete a full water breathing technique loop, I activated Quicksilver to instantly grab hold of the hand in front of me. Then I comboed it with Bloodlust to push my enemy straight to the closest wall that could withstand the force of my powers. And since I still have Dagger Rush ready to go, I quickly removed Siva's authority using my bare hands, allowing a paved path for my dragon long sword to hit center mass, and thanks to my devil fruit, I awakened the true sussy Becca within me as it's time to show this girl the greatest lesson on earth. But with me on the groove and totally locked in wanting to fully experience the Brazilian-style bakery in front of me, I heard my opponent say wait for just a second. But it's too late. There's no stopping a cultured god with her mind already set. However, I remembered I am not a total menace like that dude who always turns invisible, so I deactivated my skills for a moment and asked Siha if she really wants to stop our 1-versus-1 duel, because if so, her skills and abilities are on the line if we stop now. Luckily for me though, her intense need of wanting to be number one again triumphed over her want to stop the duel against me. So it's time for me to go on the full offensive again, and this time my sussy domain expansion will fully enter a dimension it has never experienced before. But first I made sure our 1-versus-1 duel was totally fair in all aspects, including the part where I tried my best to ease my sword attacks against her by making sure our battlefield was absolutely soaked with unidentified liquid that would ensure everything would go smooth sailing. Nevertheless, after confirming with physical touch that Sia's net was ready to get scored on since the field was basically a fully leaking basement, it was time for the final phase of my special attacks. And before I knew it, the sussy Fire Nation took over my soul and gave me the power to thrust my sword straight into Sia's crystal. But much to my surprise, my sword was the tightest fit inside that ball of power, making it feel like my Excalibur could actually shatter at any second. What's even crazier is that Sia's crystal in front of me had some kind of passive effect where it felt like there was some kind of continuous effect that would constantly constrict my weapon faster than a python, so my crush really is the best. At this point though, I might actually be in trouble because of how great this passive skill is, so I need to calm down or else Mount Bongsu will accidentally explode without me getting to experience more than 30 seconds of Dragon Domain expansions. As such, I took the largest breath I could handle, and after flashing a smile, I flipped over the bakery in front of me, such that the ice cream buns are now facing the ground instead of them clapping away against the Doritos Los Tacos it was going against. Then I went ham like Singles Inferno, trying to make sure my Swiss cheese was making its way to the deepest parts of downtown Siha over and over again. But that drive to downtown is crazy hard because athletes do be better in every shape, way, and form. And you know what they say, once you go athlete, you never go back, since your life will never be the same unless it's some kind of bodybuilding pro that squats literally every single day of the week to come even close to this type of level. Suddenly, in the middle of our 1-versus-1 rice cake duel, I hear a faint alarm sound making me realize that the game just ended, and there's no way I want to get caught now or else I will get fired, which would make sure I would never step foot on the court again. At the same time, Sia quickly exits the bliss dimension and comes back to reality upon hearing a bunch of chatter and footsteps get closer by the second, making her realize she was partaking in forbidden jutsu with me the entire time. So now, with both of us still in the same birthday uniform we were born with, I started hearing Minseo saying she wants to go check on Siha literally a meter outside our door, but I decided to not pull out with my Excalibur sword. And as I decide to not do anything but keep on being chilling to see what my crush would do in this very sussy situation, I started hearing the doorknob slowly open with Minso happily asking if someone is inside the locker room. So as it continues to slowly swing open, I look at my crush and realize she's looking super cute like my brand new puppy I adopted, so I already knew she isn't going to do anything about this as she's too shocked to move or say anything. As such, I felt bad for what would happen if I didn't save the day, so I sprung into action like a superhero from The Boys, where I activate Gear 5 to instantly put on a bunch of defensive invisible armors, just so I could greet Minso at the door. In this mad rush, I accidentally stubbed my pinky toe to make sure I could protect my crush from utter humiliation, as it allowed me to be able to successfully stop the door from swinging all the way whilst I blocked the rest of her vision to make sure Minso didn't suspect a thing. And since I am more big brain than Megamind, I tap into the acting skills within me and give the entire volleyball team the biggest smile I could muster while making an excuse that Seha has a crazy head pain right now, so the reason why I am here is because I gave her some medicine she asked for. The funny part in all of this is that I even almost believed myself in all these white lies, so I continued on and began improv on the spot, making some more random things up that made Minso super worried for her teammate. Now clearly, I was buying time for my crush to clean up, but since I couldn't hear any kind of movement using my special bat ears, maybe I went overboard with my domain expansion skills, causing Minso to yell out if she needs to call the coach. However, I finally heard signs of life from my blue-haired crush, where she replied by saying there's no need to bring in the coach, and she followed it up by saying she just needs time alone to rest for a little while. After hearing that beautiful voice of hers to back up the random things I was saying to buy time, I happily looked back behind me, knowing full well that I might have already tamed the mighty beast of Red Rabbit. And all it took was a mythical battering ram to teach someone a lesson. Shortly after, I closed the door behind me and locked it, making sure the volleyball team wouldn't enter as I urged everyone to use their indoor voices. Meanwhile, I learned that I did such a great job with Siha that she couldn't move the entire time I was protecting her. Fast forward the next day after I logged on to do my dailies on Zenless and 0, I heard from my blue-haired demon that she went straight to the coach in the morning just to tell him that her condition right now is super bad, so she might not perform as good for the next game. Apparently, I now got the ability to be able to tell what the heck Siha is saying to other people as it pops up on my screen like some kind of super hearing, giving me dialogue prompts like an actual game, so like I really do be transforming into the ultimate anime god. And while I sit back gaping for the Call of Duty beta, I can even tell what she's doing right now. And since I felt bad for the coach getting mad at her, I ended up fixing her stats right up so she could train to the best of her abilities right now using our facilities. But as my crush continues to test the limits of her new fixed abilities, I noticed that she stopped for a few seconds looking absolutely flustered, so she's probably asking herself if all of this is worth it if she inevitably has to return the favor for the gifts I gave her. Honestly, she needs to stop thinking too hard, and just like how boys won't use their brain when the blood rushes down below, she should do the same if she wants to become the best outside hitter in the world again, as it sucks getting constant notifications that she's feeling desperate and lacking motivation to continue training. I even started receiving pop-ups at night that my crush started having nightmares, and since the feeling of shame is involved, I already knew that she was dreaming of me, but even though it's nice and all to know, it's just lame hearing that alarm bell over and over again. Nevertheless, I showed up to work the next day feeling more rejuvenated than usual, so I evolved into the Skibidi Alpha Rizzler and started chatting everyone up like a brand new person, and somehow, everyone actually started talking to me like a normal person. However, just as I was getting into the groove of things as this new Chad Bongsu, I heard a familiar voice from behind gank me and call my name, yet the way Sia called me felt more different than usual as her tone is more soft-spoken. But remember how I am a different person now? I did not instantly run to her like a simp. Instead, I just turned to look at her to see what she wanted without saying anything. But then she suddenly took my hand and rushed me off like a crazy girlfriend when they see you talking to another girl. Even one of our star players took notice of what happened, saying how the vibes are off, so it looks like things are on the up for me, as I never expected for all my crushes to even realize I was around, making this the greatest week of my life. Unfortunately for me, everything came crashing down back to my reality when we entered a private room, and since I took this as me getting lucky, I ended up being pushed against the wall like the good old days, so this did not turn out as I expected it to. However, as soon as Sia started speaking to me, I discovered that she has a brand new problem that I have never ever heard of before, making it clear that she can't stop thinking of me when I am not around, causing her to become a super sussy baka. She then starts shouting at me to fix her problem, to stop playing around with my powers, but truth be told, I never altered anything to make her feel like a sussy baka, so it looks like the real problem is that she became addicted to my banana tree plantation. But when I told her the truth that I am not that kind of menace, she refused to outright believe me. But then I saw her face turn more red than me when I try and drop a bomb on the toilet, so I started feeling bad for her since her emotions are totally everywhere right now. As such, now that I am Chadamus Prime, I decided I would take the mantle of responsibility by straight up asking her if she wanted me to fix her problem right now, since I can whip out my Beyblade if she needed it that bad. I continued on by letting her know that the only thing I did was to hold up the part of my agreement where I returned her physical attributes back before the nerf to her knees, so it's actually all on her for her to feel this way, as I haven't even unlocked that skill yet. However, she continues to deny that it's her fault and not mine, and since I will never use my Dragon Longsword skills without permission, I propose the idea of her whipping out the fresh papayas in front of me, if she would rather do that instead. You see, I am not like those other guys from Culture Anime, since I give everyone the option to do whatever they want, and I already knew this was a win-win scenario for me no matter what, as she's the one that dragged me into a private room, so we all know how this always ends. Anyways, after a few seconds of me waiting for her answer, I get pretty disappointed since she decided to storm off, making a huge fuss about doing a 1 versus 1 duel, even though we had an amazing time during our first 1 versus 1 duel. But with me having an IQ level far into the triple digits, I ask her if she really wants to storm off, if she's the one that came to me looking for help. So I told her it might actually affect her performance if she leaves me hanging right now. Shortly after finishing my sentence, Sia quickly stops in her tracks and pauses, looking more like the champion Gwen from League of Legends, knowing full well that she doesn't want me to send her back to her normie self. As such, she turns the dive-in pants she has on invisible, and does some Asian math to do a perfect parallel bend to the ground, allowing me to witness some legendary athletic volleyball bakeries created to the fullest. Furthermore, I continued to watch on gleefully as I did not expect my crush to become a try-hard in doing what I asked, which is to do a solo 1 versus 1 against herself, since I'd always paid for these type of anime gameplays online. I still can't believe I have all this power now, and secretly, I knew what Seha was feeling since I kept getting notifications of her pent-up anger, so I already knew this was coming, and today was my lucky day. Ever since our first rice cake destroying training session, I noticed Sia was unable to focus during actual real training, and sometimes I witnessed some slight water fountain leaks at her forbidden palace, so it doesn't take much of a genius to realize what's going on with her. Even at night, I discovered her emotional well-being bar to skyrocket as if I was playing The Sims, so I already knew what she was struggling with, and so far, everything is falling into place for my amazing plan. Anyways, this crazy bully actually let the water dam of Sia explode right in front of me, spraying a bunch of water on the ground and on the walls, which I will not clean up after, quickly creating a scientific reaction that made my own volcano stop being dormant at this very moment. Now that my volcano is super awake and ready to erupt, my crush suddenly gets mad at me for no reason, even though I asked her kindly if she wanted to do her water dam expansion jutsu herself, so it's not like I made her use sussy jutsu since it was her own decision. Actually, I remembered why she's getting so salty right now, even though I can clearly see the water leak keep going, and it's because she's been wanting to ask me to use my supreme domain expansion against her again. I guess it's not fair for her that I knew she's been waiting for me the entire time whilst playing hard to get thanks to my powers, but since I am a changed man, I will no longer be the one that approaches my crushes. Instead, they have to come to me. Anyways, in real time, I know exactly what everyone is feeling, what they are thinking, what is happening with them, and pretty much everything about them, and right now, I know exactly what Sama truly wants.